Hi everyone, we're gonna jump right into this 10-minute follow-along Ashtanga yoga practice. Let's start by standing up straight, our hands at our sides and our feet together. We bring the arms up, fold forward in the hips, and on your way down, try not to hit any plants. Lengthen the spine, place the hands, and step or jump back, lowering yourself down to lower plank and coming up to upward facing dog. From there, push the hips up to downward facing dog and readjust the feet if you need to. The most important thing here is that you keep a straight line from the hands to the hips. You don't want to arch the back, so that means you have to push the chest towards the floor. From there you can straighten out the knees more and push the heels to the floor as well. Of course, it's very important to keep breathing, and you want your inhalation about as long as your exhalation. From there we bend the knees and step or jump forward, immediately straightening out the spine, relaxing the spine, letting the head hang towards the floor, and then coming up to a standing position. Okay, so we're gonna do this 2 more times, putting the feet together again, lifting the arms, bending in the hips, head down, and then straightening out the spine. Place the hands on the floor and jump or step back, coming to lower plank, pushing up to upward facing dog, keeping the shoulders back and down, and pushing up to downward facing dog. Try to focus on the breath, make the inhalation 4 seconds and the exhalation 4 seconds. The feet are hip width apart and the hands are shoulder width apart. You should feel a nice stretch in the hamstrings and you should relax the neck. A couple more breaths here before we bend the knees again. Step or jump forward to straighten out the spine, then relaxing the spine and coming up again. Now for the final time, hands at the sides, bringing them up, bending forward, placing the hands wherever they go. So if this is on the knees or on the shins, that's fine. Okay, we're going to lower plank, to upward facing dog again, pushing down, and then moving the hips back into downward facing dog. This is the final one, so make the stretch count. Really pushing down the chest and try to straighten out the knees as far as you can, moving the heels to the floor. Push the shoulders away from the ears. And just breathe deeply a couple of times more before we bend the knees again and step forward. So that should be about 5 deep breaths. And there we bend the knees again. Step or jump forward. Lengthen the spine. Relax the spine, moving the head to the floor. Coming up to a standing position. Now let's switch perspectives. All the next positions are going to be seated. It's easier to show you this way. So we came from a standing position, so let's go from there, moving the arms up and down, lengthening the spine, coming to high plank, low plank, upward facing dog. Once more, pushing the hips back. And from here you can do 2 things. The first one is just stepping the hands back, crossing the legs and sitting down. And from there we move the feet forward. Now for the second version, which is a little bit harder, you move the hands back as well, jump forward and tuck the knees to the chest while you're moving forward. From there, push the shoulders back and down, look up and bend forward, which is a really simple stretch for the back of the legs. It's important here to actively push the navel to the spine. It creates more space for you to bend forward. And with every exhale, try to go a little bit deeper and a little bit more towards the legs. Okay, we're coming up here, crossing the legs, placing the hands down, moving the legs back to lower plank, pushing up to upward facing dog. Now this cycle of lower plank, upward facing dog and downward facing dog between poses is what we call a vinyasa. So when you hear me say we'll do a vinyasa, it means doing this. Coming back to a sitting position, we push our left leg forward and bend the right. And here we twist, moving the left elbow over the right knee. Try to keep the spine straight and the left leg active. Now the right hand is placed exactly behind you and it's just there to push you up a little bit and keep the spine straight. Try to breathe deeply and just stay in that flow. And from there we're releasing the pose, crossing the legs, coming forward, and we'll do a vinyasa. Coming down to lower plank, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. And again, cross the legs, sit back. Now push the right foot forward and bend the left leg, keeping some distance between the foot and the right leg. Move the elbow over the right knee and rotate backwards. The right leg should be active here and the core should be engaged. So the twisting motion comes from the core. Now this twist can actually be a really nice way to relieve some stress of the lower back. So if you've been sitting down all day and you feel that there's some stress or some tension build up in the lower back, do this position and you will feel better. Of course, don't overdo it. Just do what feels right for you. Now again, we're doing a vinyasa here. I'm already in upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Coming to a seated position again. Now with your knees in 90 degrees, place your feet on the floor. Grab the inner parts of your knees and move the feet up. You can release the hands here and keep the arms parallel to the floor. The shoulders should be drawn back and pressed down. Remember to keep breathing and keep the body in a solid position. Now cross the legs again and from there push the buttocks up. If you need to keep the feet on the floor, that's fine. And come back straight to the pose. Move the arms parallel to the floor and tilt the head back so the spine is in a straight line. And we'll just stay here for a couple of more breaths. Keeping the shoulders back and down and the core active. Cross the legs again, place the hands down, jump or step back, pushing up to upward facing dog and downward facing dog. I hope you all recognize the pattern now from this vinyasa that we're doing. Crossing the legs again, sitting down and bringing the upper body to the ground. Place your heels where you can touch them with your hands and place them as wide as your hips. From there we push up the hips and roll the shoulders under. The weight of the body should rest on the feet and the shoulders, not on the neck. You should feel the stretch in the quadriceps, but you shouldn't feel a strain in the knees. We will remain here for 10 more seconds. Really push up the hips and stay there for 5 and 1. Come down. Just relax. Take a deep breath and keep the feet where they are. From there, push up the hips again. This time, going a little bit further. Roll the shoulders under so that you really rest on those shoulders. You want the scapula to be drawn to each other and you want to rest your weight on that platform instead of the neck. And we lower down and come up without doing a vinyasa. We just come to a sitting position and bend forward, just relaxing the spine. Now we're going to do a final vinyasa to bring us to a cross-leg position where we can solely focus on the breath. Coming down to lower plank and pushing up to downward facing dog while keeping the shoulders down and pushing back to our last downward facing dog. Step forward, crossing the legs and sit down. And just remain there. You can place the hands on top of the knees, keep the shoulders down and back, and start to make the breath slow and deep. So that should be one in and one out. Inhale and exhale. You can make this into your own small meditation. You can close the eyes if you want to. And from there, you can either continue on sitting like that or laying the body down completely, having the palms up, relaxing every limb, and letting the body cool down in this way.